Hi guys, what's going on, and welcome to another video on Thrones of Britannia. So today we are taking a look at the Crown Divided mod. It's a little sub-mod that I've just been playing with, and it doesn't do radical changes, but it sort of changes around a little bit with how some of the battles works. It's sort of a bit early on in Thrones of Britannia to really be expecting any sort of huge mods to be coming about. It's kind of interesting, some of the things that have been changing. So let's get just into a little bit of battle, just a little bit of a skirmish between some of the enemy units. Let's get is our catapult in range? No, not quite yet. Oh, it is. Let's target their general then. Yeah, so what basically has been changing? So they've changed in the mod kind of the way that some of the statistics work. So they're now representative of true statistics. So previously, some of the things, some of the melee skills, melee defense stuff, they had lots of hidden statistics. So you didn't really know fully how the things were balanced out, but that's now been changed so that all the statistics are represented here, and there's no sort of hidden statistics that you can't really work out exactly what's going on, sort of thing. So let's just start setting some shots off as these enemies come into range. Oh, cavalry against theirs. So what else changes? The way the formations work have been changed. There's been some subtle changes. Let's to reform term skirmish mode off. And things like the way shield wall works. So now, instead of just having access to shield castle where you activate it and you couldn't move, now the shield wall works where you have full access to it continuously, and you can actually move with it activated, which is quite a nice change because it means you can now, as an example, only at a walking pace, but your command can keep their shields locked together, advancing the shield wall, which is obviously much more accurate to how they were. A shield wall isn't so locked in place as it was. But obviously, if you double tap, then they'll come out of shield mode and go into a run, a scattered run. So it's only a walking speed, effect, but still kind of a cool little change to make things like that. And there's also been a change to how charge mechanics are working. Oh wow, we've absolutely smashed their enemy general. Let's get our units moving up then. These guys. So let's get everyone moving forwards. Yes, that's kind of a cool change, and the way the charges have been changed with our cavalry units are now a little bit different, a little bit more effective, and they're not quite so limited. Before was any unit that was bracing meant that the cavalry wouldn't charge them at all, and it was kind of a little bit silly, it wasn't quite right. So yeah, that's now been changed. And people use their shields properly when they're being under arrow fire as they advance. They're crouched down behind their shields in their shield wall formation. That's sort of locking them down, ready for combat. Wise, got a wolf's head on a stick. Cool. So what else has changed? There's also been some changes to how the the ranged combat works. So we organise, quickly turn around to face off these long axes with our shields, keeping the shield formation. Okay, let's go forwards, get into combat. So yeah, so range now works slightly differently. So they've basically increased the reload rate of your archers, but while at the same time they have toned down the amount of damage they do per volley. So it's not quite as effective as it once was. I've got some armoured archers. Let's start to get some shot on their enemy archers. Yeah, so these guys should now fire a bit faster, but they don't get quite so much damage, which I think is kind of nice. There's also been some reworking how to morale works. Let's get these shields in. Royal Companions, this is obviously the leader of our group. His elite infantry coming against the enemy spear infantry. We should be able to win this one. Yeah, so morale now works a little bit differently. Units don't rack quite so easily, I don't think, and battles should be taking a little bit longer rather than just sort of instant. It's pretty quick, some of the battles, so hopefully they should now last a little bit longer, although they're still not super long by any means. And on top of that, if a unit starts to rout, it generally doesn't come back to the field now. So whereas before units would get engaged, rout, run 50 meters back, then stop, and you'd have to drag them back in, and they'd rout, run 50 meters back, stop, you drag them back in. Now, as a general rule, if they're routing, they are routing. It's kind of a little bit more consistent, which I think is a nice change. I just love how this game looks. It's so cool. Yes, that's one change that's certainly been for the better, I think. There's been a few little changes to the campaign. Oh, our axes are routing. Okay, that's not so good. Let's get these guys stuck in. Okay, let's get out of shield wall mode. Let's start to bring these guys down. Where are our archers? Come on, keep our range going. Seems to be getting, should be winning this fight down here. Starting to apply some good pressure on these guys now. What are our catapults doing? Oh, our catapult crew is out of ammunition, I think. Yes, they can abandon those catapults. Might as well come in as an infantry unit. Also got some javelin men. Let's push these guys forwards. Yeah, so they've added some other things to the statistics, and they've integrated the better camera mod, which is sort of a common mod available on the Steam Workshop, which kind of just makes the camera a bit more controllable. So yeah, it's nice that they've just integrated that into the mod, so it kind of makes it a bit easier. Oops, I toggled the wrong thing, I think. Let's try and get these javelin men to start throwing some arrows. Some whoosh. Oh! Some of these... He's got a javelin through his chest, but he's still alive. I think it looks like we're starting to tip this battle in our favour, hopefully. When I say that, I'm not entirely sure we are, necessarily. Let's get those archers stuck in. Okay, let's use some of our horsemen then. We've got still lots of cavalry remaining. I had actually forgot we've got these guys. Let's bring this round. The man count started to tip in our favour, and I think we have sort of a higher quality of troops. Let's bring our guys round. See if we can see some of these chargers. Hopefully they're a little bit better now than they were. They're supposed to be improved. Get to charge down some of these archers. So yes, it should supposed to be a bit more aggressive, although I didn't get a particularly great charge there. But yeah, they actually caused more knockdown now than they did before, sort of more of a stun. They were kind of pretty ineffective cavalry in the best game. But I do kind of agree it was a little bit silly. And while I guess you shouldn't be just charging straight into like shield walls or shield castles, it kind of got to the point where cavalry was so ineffective they didn't really do anything at all. So yeah, I think it's probably a bit of a change for the better overall. Oh, victory! We've got them all routing as our fjords chase them down. Obviously we've got the Wessex here against some of the Norse factions. Even our banner man is cutting people down with his spanner. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a bit of a reasonable overview of some of the changes that we get in the Grand Divided mod. I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. Obviously these changes apply into the campaign as well. So yeah, it's kind of just mostly a mod to the battle mechanics. I know there are other mods available. There's another mod, I can't remember what it's called, that does takes a similar sort of attitude with this sort of small level changes, but does it to the campaign rather than sort of the battles, and they kind of work well together. One, you know, the SFO Grand Divided mod sort of deals mostly with the battle side of things, and there's another mod which deals mostly with the campaign side of things, adding in small garrisons to towns and things like that. But it's kind of nice that these mods are available and sort of make little changes like this. It's pretty cool, and I think the base game certainly needs a little bit of work. So yeah, hopefully it's a bit of an enjoyable overview of some of the mods that are available for Thrones of Britannia. We're also going to be going back to our Thrones of Britannia campaign. We need to get episode 3 out ASAP, so we'll be going back and having a look at that shortly. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Is this going to be a mod you might be installing, or is it something you're not really interested in? Yeah, let me know. Subscribe to the channel for lots more Total War Arena content, and thanks guys. I shall see you all on the next video.